Hi, this is Alex from phpacademy.org and this is a PHP video tutorial for the new Boston. Now in this tutorial I'm going to be slightly advancing on the last part of looking at simple XML, and this time we're going to deal with what happens if we have child elements inside of our XML document. So at the moment our XML document looks like this. We have currently 4 producers. However, what happens if we want to add some further information about these producers? And I don't mean further information about credentials like their name or their age. And let's just delete these 2 so we can keep an eye on what's going on here. So inside each producer I want to specify a show that they've both produced. So for example here I'm going to say show and I'm going to end show. Now I'm going to provide some details about this show. So show name, a show, and let's say show date, and then let's give a date. So let's say 12th December 2010, for example. Okay, so now let's copy and paste this and put in another show. So show name, another show, and let's change this to the 4th of July 2009. Okay, so now Alex has produced 2 shows with these credentials in here. So we've got show name and show date, but we've also maintained specific information about our producer. So we're coming into sort of a database like structure where we've got the name and the age of our producer, then we've got 2 different shows that they've produced. So not only are we accessing each producer, but we're now accessing data about each show that they've produced. Let's just add one for Billy so we can use that as an example. So inside here we want, let's just line these up, show name, better show, and let's change the date to 2007, keep it at July, and we'll just change this to the 25th, for example. Okay, so now let's go back to our index.php page. So we've already established that we've got a for each language construct which is looping through each producer as a producer. Now what we can do is we can echo out these producers' names by using this structure. So we've established that we can do that. We can put a line break. So let's go back to our page and refresh, and you can see that we've got Alex and then a line break and Billy. So we've produced the names of our producers. Now what we can even do is incorporate the age. So let's create some brackets here, and then inside the brackets I want to put their age. So producer age. Okay, so what this is doing is it's giving us the producer name, the name tag inside each producer. So we've got Alex and age, and then we've got we've got Alex and then 21 and Billy and 16. So that should gather the data from each one, and then we can do a line break afterwards. So let's refresh and see if that's worked. Okay, yeah, so we've now got the age in brackets. Let's put just a space in there to make sure that's neat. So now underneath, what happens if I want to list each show? Now you might think that we could just say echo producer. Let's go back to our XML document, see what we've got. Then we could say show, and then we could say show name. Well, absolutely, let's refresh and you can see a show under Alex. However, what this has done is it's, let's put a line break so we can see what we're doing properly. However, we're only showing one show for Alex and one show for Billy. Now Billy does have one show, that's correct. However, Alex has 2 shows. We've got a show, let's go back, we've got a show and another show, and Billy has just got his one show, better show. So what do we do in this case? Well, all we need to do is we need to create another for each statement inside of here, but this time what we do is we say for each producer, and then we say for each producer show, no, what's it called? Yep, for each producer show as show. Now what we can do is we've taken each producer's show and we're now able to access elements inside this, or our tags inside of this. So now let's echo out show. Remember we're using the variable that we created here, and then we can say show name, for example, and then we can say put a space or say on, and then we can say show date. So we're accessing this specific information that's relative in our loop to each producer. So let's refresh and see what data we get back. We'll just create a line break there first of all. Let's refresh. Now what you can see that's happened is because we've looped again for each show, we've now accessed another tier, or another how can I explain, another dimension of our XML structure. So now what we've done is we've been able to return specific data on every show that this specific producer has produced, and therefore Billy only has one, because that's he's only produced one show. So now with this example, you can do another for each loop if you wanted, and then another one inside that to access each element of this depending on the structure. So remember, with XML the structure is always going to stay the same, but the data is going to vary. So for example, if we were to copy and paste this show here and then change this to another show 2, for example, on the 5th of July, you can now see that our page will update and put more data in it. So the structures remain the same, and as long as we adhere to the structure and exactly the same tag names, then our data is going to be updated, even if we're using multi-level data.